Yes, yes, yes. Welcome to another After Dark with Shawn Cornelius, and I am your host, the romantic funny man, Shawn Cornelius. Appreciate you joining me for this show. We got another great show and another great guest. But before we get to that, I want to thank you all for hanging out. Also, want to thank BronxNet for housing me, and you can catch me on Channel 68, also FiOS 2135, and BronxNet.org. You can watch the show. And you can also catch the show on Shawn Cornelius Entertainer, which I show all of the shows pretty much put it on my YouTube site, and you can check the show out as many times as you'd like to, and hang out. And, yeah, check out some other things that I got going on. So I appreciate you joining me every week at 10:30 here on. It's just we got another great show for you tonight, and another talented individual because I like to bring talented people to the show. So it's going to be a fantastic show. We're going to learn a lot and we're going to have some fun. So Gene Torres, bassist. Uh, I know him as a bassist because he played bass for me on a show that we did out in New Jersey, and it was fantastic. And the songs were fantastic coming out of the bass. Everything sounded wonderful. But I know there's so much more to him. I know he does a lot of stuff on the side of engineering, and he's going to come in and talk to us and let us know and tell us about what else he does. But he's also going to help some of you out there that want to know about the music industry, and you can contact him and find out some things, and keep your thing going or get your thing going and get your thing started. So want to make sure that you sit back and relax and enjoy the show tonight. Have a great time with us, and everything is going to be fantastic. Now he's sitting back there waiting for me to just bring him in so that we can go ahead and enjoy the show. So I'm gonna I'm gonna do that and bring him in now so we can just chit chat it up. Please welcome to the show, my man, Mr. Gene Torres. How you doing, brother?
All right, how you doing, Sean?
I'm
Thanks,
fantastic.
thanks for having me, man.
Oh,
Appreciate it.
thank you for coming in, man. This is going to be great. We haven't had a chance to conversate too much since the COVID hit and that gig that we did, but it's going to be wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, cool. Well, let's get it going, man. Let's find out for you. You're a bassist, and you do stuff. Basically, you fiddle around with. What do you do? You tell everybody what you do.
Okay, well, I'm unfortunately I'm an electric bassist. Okay, I don't play upright. The reason why is because I don't play with my two fingers like I'm supposed to. I
Uh-huh.
never learned how to do that. So what I do is I'm playing with my thumb as a pick, and
Okay.
I've been able to, you could play down and up, down and up. So I've been doing that for centuries, so it's quite normal for me to do that, you
All
know.
right. You know
So
what? Let's jump before we even get into all that extra because I'm going to try to get as many secrets as I can, and I want to try to
okay,
find out all the good stuff. Let's find out originally. Let's find out where you're from, how long you've been doing it, when you started. We'll go through all of that. So, where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Brooklyn. Fort Greene, Brooklyn was where I grew up at. All right, and so I started playing bass over, with some of my friends there, and I'm out in Bay Ridge now, and I've been here for quite some time, but mainly I'm always in Brooklyn. Always in Brooklyn. I'm gonna stay in Brooklyn, So
Okay. How long have you been in music? How long has music been a part of your life?
it's centuries, it's definitely been centuries. Um, it's over 50 years, and it's still I'm having a lot of fun doing it, you know, um, and I'm just gonna keep going until I can't.
Right. Now you started off like I met you through obviously through the bass, and you talked about the bass. Um, was that your first instrument that you started
Yeah,
playing?
yeah,
That
yeah.
was the first instrument, and you pretty much mastered the bass, and
Well, I wouldn't say, I wish I could say that, but it's still a work in progress as far as I'm concerned. It's still a work in progress.
well, you know what? When I say master, because there's so many, right? There's so many different things you can continue to learn about instruments and whatever you do, you've pretty much you make money with your instrument.
Yeah.
So you've mastered it enough to make money playing. How many? Well, I mean, I'm sure you played many gigs. What type of gigs do you play?
Whew, wow. That's it runs the gamut, man. You know, soul, R&B, funk, you know, jazz, Haitian music, calypso, uh, not, rock, hard rock, grunge, you know. I don't gig like that, but they may call me to do a recording, and I'll do the session, you know.
Right. So you're a
Um,
session player as well.
yeah,
You
yeah,
do
yeah,
sessions, different sessions of different types of categories
yeah,
of music.
yeah. And some of the things that I do is like for instance, if you get stuck with like for instance, lots of times what happens, uh, the bass player gets COVID, is in a car accident, he's sick or whatever else. And so a lot of people that know me will call me at the last minute because they're stuck,
Right.
and my reading's pretty good. And
Yeah. Yeah.
so I can learn and chart out like 30 tunes in like 2 or 3 days.
Right. And how long have you been playing the bass?
It's like 51, 52 years, something like
Yeah.
that.
So you've done a lot of categories of music in those 51 or 52 years of playing. Um, do you have a favorite? What do you have a favorite, or you just like all of music is great?
No, I don't really have a favorite. They're all great. I like them all. I'm working with this group. I'm working with this group in out of Vermont. They're based out of Vermont, and so they send me the tracks. And I put my bass lines on it, and then send it back. And if there's any, so and this group is kind of like a Nirvana type group, you know,
Okay. Okay.
and
All
so
right. Yeah.
and I like it because it throws me into um, a different era than or area than that I normally would play. So
Right. Right. Now, wait. When you said okay, so they can pick you for a wedding, they can pick you for a bar mitzvah, whatever the situation is.
yes,
Um, do you have a favorite style of how do to play? Because like cats picking up the bass for the first time, and they may come and ask you, "Hey, man, how do I learn?" Because I play the bass. I don't play it
okay,
as well as you do. I haven't been playing as long as you have at all, but I'm learning and I'm enjoying learning. Um, and I play different types of music. Do when cats ask you, what's the first question they ask you? How to play the bass?
um, just study. You definitely have to study. Ear training is real important.
Right, right,
Because at the end of the day, this is what's going to get you through.
right, right.
You know,
So yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, and just and practice and study the bass, study different bass players. I'm pretty much sure you do.
Yes.
I'm pretty much sure you listen to Marcus or somebody, and you'll play it. You know.
Yeah. 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 What I usually do is I go to YouTube and I follow some of the teachings on YouTube, or I follow some of the bass players. I go way back and listen to the Motown, from
Mhm.
Motown all the way up to the rock and roll, through the rock and roll
Right.
era,
Right.
to learn certain things and learn certain tricks. But plus I put my own stuff obviously in. Were you doing that as well? Were you obviously you were watching other people, then you put your own thing to it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, when I first started, it was a lot harder to pick up stuff because you didn't have like the apps now where you could slow the thing down and keep the pitch. You didn't have that back then.
Right, right. Okay, I
So
got
if
you.
you put a 45 on the record player, you could slow it down to 33, but it changed the pitch on you.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you'd have to learn it in the new pitch, and then move it up,
Right.
and it was a lot harder back then. And now, now it's so much easier. You can get on YouTube and watch anybody tell you how to play anything, and he'll break it down, and that's I, you know,
What was your favorite song? What did you start playing on? What was your favorite, the first song that you played and you was like, good, I got this, or I got it, or
oh
I'm gonna
man,
learn it. Do you have a favorite song? I know
oh
everybody usually remembers their favorite or their
no,
first.
wow, oh man, that's well, I know that we listened to a lot of James Brown, and we listened to a lot of Sly and the Family Stone. This was the group that I started out with, and it was a bunch of us from the neighborhood. And one day we just decided, hey, you know, we wanted to be in a band. So we each, chose instruments, and I chose the bass, and so we were playing like Brown and Sly. We were doing Led Zeppelin, and this was all black, an all black band, but
Yeah,
we
yeah.
liked the Barkays, you know, we liked all that stuff. The Ohio players, Chicago, um, and all of those tunes were great, and the more we did it, the better we got.
Right.
Where the songs started to sound a little more authentic, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and and luckily, two of the guys in the band I'm still in contact with, and and we get a chance to play every now and then, which is good. We laugh, you know.
Yeah, let me ask you. You mentioned all that stuff, but you haven't mentioned school. You haven't mentioned like a formal training, and we know that people go to school. Some people go to school for music, and they go specifically for formal training. Did you have a formal training of music that you did?
Well, I
That you
didn't
went
go
through?
to any of the accredited colleges. I didn't do that. I didn't see the point in that. But I studied privately. I studied one person I studied with was a trumpet player named Bob Williams. Um,
Okay. All
uh,
right.
I studied theory and harmony and counterpoint with uh, uh, with a teacher named Paul Caputo. Matter of fact, I studied with him 10 years.
Okay. Okay.
And
Right.
because of the pandemic, we had to, he had to stop teaching, but he's probably going to be teaching again, and I'll probably go back to studying with him again. I studied with Charlie Banakis out of Boston. He does a mail correspondence thing. He
Okay.
he sends you something, and it was through the mail. That's how he did it back then. So I studied with him. Yeah, I didn't see the purpose of going to college. It just didn't make sense to me. You know?
Right. Right. And you've been able to have a career uh, doing it the way you've been doing it, basically on that
Yeah,
level.
it's been great. It could always be better. Don't get me wrong.
Right. Right.
Um, but the thing that I noticed about what I was trying to do was, you know, you're looking at income streams, okay? So
Hmm.
you try to figure out, instead of getting a day job, which I mean, unless you're not working, but what you try to do is, okay, where else can I make some money, but keeping it in the music business? So
Right. Right.
one
Right.
thing was making charts for charts for people, you know.
So you
Uh,
did a lot of charts. So you still do charting, which is really
yeah,
now, which is kind of
yeah,
heavy.
yeah. I still do charts, not a lot, but so I get paid doing that. Sometimes people need music tracks, and
Hmm.
I can do that. They'll there's a guy down in Florida. He needed some tracks, and he gave me the chords that he wanted, and then I just you know made an arrangement for him, and then he would send me the he would send me the track, and then we would work on it, through the internet, and that
Yeah.
was cool. That worked.
See, you mentioned you mentioned so much. You mentioned chords, you mentioned tracks, you mentioned there's so much to learn. And I never went to school legitimately. I went to a class, and then I quit the class. But there's so much to learn. And nowadays, well, there are people obviously in school, and there are people are learning on which is better. Is it learning the way we learn, like without, or we're learning school?
Well, see, here's the thing that I'm gonna hope that I'm gonna say this right, but you're gonna go to accredited college. About 6 years ago,
Right.
to graduate, it was $240,000.
Hmm. Hmm.
You get a student loan, you got to pay that back. Soon as you graduate, 6 months later, they got their hand out.
You got to start. Yeah, you got to start paying that back. Sure.
Now, that's kind of crazy. Just to do a $7,500 gig, you're not, you're going to be in the hole like crazy. So you might be better off studying privately, with a bunch of different people. You can study privately to get your sight reading together. You could study privately to get your bass technique, your instrument technique. You can study privately with somebody for improv.
Right, but you're still putting money out on that level, but you're not putting out as much.
Yeah.
You're per, like, because if you're doing it per class, you're paying per class, and if you're doing it through
Right.
school, you're paying it
Right.
for the year.
Right.
But
yeah, and but then when you finish, you don't owe anybody nothing.
right, right. I get it. I totally get it, and you pretty much can get that knowledge out of that. But I guess it depends on the person, because some people are better off in school
Yeah.
doing it if you have the money to do it than doing it personally or privately on that level.
I mean, I can't. How it worked for me was how it worked for me. Some people, like you said, yeah, they just better off going to school. It's a little harder not going to school. I will admit that, because you have to do that. Nobody else can.
Right,
You have
right.
to do that. So if you don't do it, then your growth is going to be delayed, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
at some point you don't have a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
And your whole practice regimen changes. It's not the same anymore. Like when you're younger, you can spend 8 to 10 hours on your instrument. But then when you get older and you got a family, you don't have that kind of time. But if you've been doing it long enough, you don't really need that much time. You practice here.
Right.
That's how you practice.
Yeah, you got a lot of situations, and I know like it can be tricky in the game. Some make it, some don't. Well, it depends on what you garner your level of success, whatever success is. Success could be just playing the scale. Success could just be playing a few songs. Because success could be in a band. Success could be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What level would you consider yourself, or what did you look at to be successful in the industry playing your bass?
Well, me looking at success was that I can make a living out of it. I'm not, I'm not making Jeff Bezos money, but I'm
Right.
comfortable.
Right.
I'm comfortable.
Exactly.
I don't want for anything. You know, if my wife and we need to go on vacation, we can. Again, we don't have Jeff Bezos money, but we're okay.
Sure.
And we're fine.
Sure.
And I'm okay with that.
Right. When you set yourself out, when basically you just this is what I want. This is where I want to be, type
Yeah.
of thing with anything in life. Um, talk to me about some of the gigs that were some of your favorites, man, and some of your worst. Like your gig that you just hold to the top of your list, and the gig that you hold to the bottom. I
Uh,
know one of them was with this kid called, his name is Shawn
well,
Cornelius. I think it was
right now I'm working with Darlene Love,
okay.
and I'm having a ball with that. Everybody in the band is great, and funny, and she's a doll to work for. I got to say that about her. You know,
Okay.
she's real cool. That sister is 80 years old.
Wow. Wow.
And man, I'm hoping I can do half as much that she does at 80
At
years
80.
old.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and she's still growing. She's still going strong. Unfortunately, the pandemic slowed her down a little bit. You know,
Right. Right.
she was supposed to do the View in December,
Okay.
and about 3 or 4 days before we were supposed to go, we were down in Florida, and somebody in the band tested positive,
Right.
and
Right.
yeah, so Walt Disney, which owns Channel 7,
Hmm.
they weren't having no part of that. They're like, no, you're done.
Right. And now, how has the pandemic caused the situation? Because then you brought that up, and the gigs. I know gigs were canceled, and I know gigs that people are trying to get back into the grind of doing things. But we have so much going on with this new variant and these other things going on. How are musicians doing it? Because I know I know a lot of musicians, and I know that they're trying to they make their way off of gigs, but gigs have been canceled. How are you doing? How are you surviving?
The gigs are definitely have been canceled, but there is still, gigs happening.
Yeah.
Okay, not as much, you know, uh, like where we would be gigging like between, you know, 3 to 6 gigs a week, with different groups. Now we're doing the 1 to 2 a week,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, we're all hurting, but we're all, trying to be cautious and, and just be careful,
Sure. Sure. Well, when you say that, is it good, obviously, to get into something different? When you're going into it, you just don't tell a musician to just play the bass. Just do the bass. That's it. Just in case something else comes along or something happens that you have to go to other way. Like you said, you do other things in the studio, but you might be able to get by on doing certain things in the studio. Um,
Well, everything is going to help your musicianship. Like I studied engineering.
mhm.
Okay. I took a course with engineering, and luckily I didn't have to pay for it,
Right.
So that helped my musicianship because as an engineer, you have to listen and to all of the instruments that are being recorded. So if you take that on the bandstand, you should hear everything that everybody's playing so
Right.
that you know what to play and what not to play.
Right. 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 Let me ask you. Did you have another interest, musician wise, instrument wise? Because I know there's several instrumentalists who play the bass, who play the drums, who play guitar, who play all these other instruments and know these things about the board. And things. What other interests do you have in music outside of the
I,
some of the
I can
board
play a little piano, but not enough to gig, just to write. It's more like writing, and I'm pretty good in, with the digital audio workstations. So if I can't play anything, I can play it in pieces and then put it together, you know. Um, yeah, but piano is a little bit, I used to, when I was younger, I used to play, try to play the drums, you know,
Right. Right.
and
Right.
but I haven't done that in ages. I'd rather program a drum machine, You know.
Yeah. So, but your conversation would tell somebody, if you have the opportunity to learn something else as you're learning, you have your instrument, learn that other one, or learn the other two, or whatever.
Yeah,
Learn other things in the music business.
yeah, because it's going to help. It's going to help your musicianship as long as it's music related. Okay, and you have to look at it because all of that is intertwined with each other. If you know what I mean, but you
Hmm.
got to be positive about it, and just like if you study engineering, now you know what frequencies are, and you know how things sound, how they're supposed to sound.
Right.
And I've always had a curiosity about stuff. Like I'll talk to drummers about equipment. You know, one time one of my mentors, I had his name is Reggie Barnes, and he was the first drummer to play the Apollo amateur hour.
Okay.
And so
All right.
I would always talk to him about stuff, and I would. So we were on a gig once, and I was curious as to why did his snare sound so much different than anybody else's that I knew.
Hmm.
And so I asked him, and he showed it to me. So when he
Okay.
hits the snare, so here's the rim. He just doesn't hit the snare. He hits the rim and the snare at the same time.
Right. Right. And that's
And
something you learned.
yeah, and I learned that from him. You know.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, if you're in the industry and you're learning, you can learn little side tricks from a lot of the
Yeah,
bass player, the drummer, the horn player,
yeah.
whoever.
You learn from everybody, and all of that helps you.
Right.
All of that helps you. You know. Um, Again, one of the things that a lot of musicians don't do is practice ear training. I Cornelius, you know, it's very very important that you do that. And if you're still practicing and playing, study ear training.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Definitely
That's very
do it
important.
because it's going to help you. Definitely will help you.
Right. So really, really quickly, what's one of the secrets or the trades that you can give us? You gave us a couple, but something that Gene Torres can share with everyone that can, if you're playing the bass, if you're starting to play the bass, like me, I play the bass. A secret that you can learn. I know you talked about your ear. I watch videos. What's something that you can give us that you've created uh, that can help a bass player?
Well, it's a bunch of things. Always try to be part of the solution and not part of the problem. You know, and keep your ego in check.
Okay.
Keep your ego in check.
Yeah.
Never mind about what you did or who'd you play for. None of that stuff matters. Okay,
Right. Right.
just approach each gig as it's life and death.
Okay. All right. So if there's folks, it's that's funny because no, you gave some very serious insight to to a period to life itself. That's why I was giggling because that's very important. If someone wants to get in contact with you to kind of talk with you about some things, what is your email address if you don't mind giving it out
No, no,
and
it's
letting them know?
hold on. I can text it to you.
Now we're doing a live TV show and you're texting me your email address. You have to tell me so I can put it up on the
Oh, okay.
screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Uh, there's a private chat. I don't know if you could see it, but it's gtorres@earthlink.net.
Yeah. Oh, you're gonna make me look in a private chat while I'm running to kind of do the interview
Oh
and
no,
talking to
no,
the.
okay,
You're gonna
fine.
make me
No, no.
do
I
more
just, I
work.
just wanted to make sure that you saw it. Yeah,
Yeah, you can still
it's
put
the
it in there
letter.
as well. But
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
them.
It's the letter G. My last name Torres, Torres, all one word at earthlink.net. That's it.
Okay, and I'm pretty sure you'll probably get some hits on that once people see what's going on because I want to tell you honestly, this guy is a fantastic bass player. I was given his name, obviously, and we did our gig in Newark,
Yeah.
and we had a great time that night doing the gig, and they want to do another gig this year at some point. I had to get back in contact with you and let you know what's going on and what the date is once they call me back, but. What I'm gonna do is, man, I'm gonna give you a chance to take a breath really quickly. I'm gonna show some commercials really quick, and then we're gonna come back in our second half. Now, this I don't know if you're a master at this like you are the bass, but we're gonna talk about love, and we're gonna talk about romance, and we're gonna talk about relationships. And I really appreciate you coming on talking about doing the bass
Can
thing.
I just say? Can I just give a shout out to
Oh
Thomas
yeah,
Gooding?
yeah, you
I
got
want to
time.
give a shout out to Thomas Gooding and to tell him thank you because if it wasn't for him, I would have never met you, Shawn. So I want to give a shout out to Thomas Gooding. An amazing bass player. I've known him for years, and thanks, Tom. I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. Thomas Gooding is an awesome bass player, and he's been on the show, and it's been great. If we did, yeah, he gave me your name, and you did the gig, and it was fantastic. So that's how we formed our friendship.
Right, right.
So it was fantastic. All right, cool, man. Well, we're gonna take a break. We'll come back, and then you'll get a chance to relax. Hopefully, some more. You seem relaxed enough, but we'll give you a chance to relax some more. And we'll talk about love and romance and all that good stuff.
Okay.
All
Looking
right,
forward to it.
are you okay? You ready for it, right?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So make sure you guys come back after dark with Shawn Cornelius and my special guest, Mr. Gene Torres. We'll be right back after these short breaks.
What's going on? This is Wanye Morris of Boys to Men here showing love and support for my boy, Shawn Cornelius, and his Enough is Enough movement to stop the senseless killings. We need to stand strong, y'all, together and heal our country. So, keep up the good work, SC. Much love, yo. Peace.
As I walk through my
This is Terrence Weatherspoon reporting live for the No News Network. This coronavirus is going to make me kill somebody. Why? Who left this in the damn refrigerator? Terrence Weatherspoon reporting live for the No News Network.
Hello, I'm Thomas Gooding, and you are watching After Dark with my brother, the mighty Shawn Cornelius.
Yes, I did it. And I did it over and over and over again.
The bad part was I had to steal to get what I wanted, to satisfy my wants, my needs, and my desires.
I mean, everything seemed so good and perfect. Until...
But none of that mattered. Because I wanted what I wanted when I wanted it. And what I wanted was...
I know. Stress, no sleep, overeating, over drinking, sex partner after sex partner with no protection. I mean, but I felt like you failed me at times. My confession?
My confession?
My confession is...
My confession?
Thank you for listening.
Hey, what's going on? This is Shawn Cornelius. I just want to stop by and take a little bit of your time because I know a lot of you have been seeing me post a lot of videos of celebrities and or entertainment friends or acquaintances of mine supporting my Enough is Enough movement, such as Dougie Fresh, Dave Hollister, Montel Jordan, Sinbad, Tate Diggs, Bethany Brown, Brian Hooks, Malik Yoba, Kid Capri, and Jackie Joyner Kersey. Now, they're important people, obviously, because of what they do, but I have a lot of friends who are not celebrities or in the entertainment field that have asked me, hey, is there any way that I can lend my voice? And yes, there is. So I'm here to tell you now what to do. All you have to do is drop a I support Shawn Cornelius and the Enough is Enough video for like 30 seconds to a minute, and inbox it to me on Facebook, and I'll post it. It's very simple. That's all it is, because your voice matters too, and you're very important to me as a supporter, friend, or family member. So just inbox me a 30-second to 1 minute video stating I support Shawn Cornelius and his Enough is Enough movement, and I'll post it up, and you'll be just as important. You are just as important as any of my entertainment acquaintances. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate those that have already supported and purchased their shirts and things from www.ShawnCorneliusEntertainment.com. So God bless you. Thank you so much. And let's continue to raise our voices together in unity. Peace. Yes. We are back after dark with Shawn Cornelius, and sitting in our special guest, brother Bassist Gene Torres. And we just had a great, fantastic first half conversation. And now we're going to get into the second half. Are you sure you're all right, man?
Oh, yeah.
All right. We're going to get into our second half and enjoy and just kind of relax a little. Do me a favor. If you could just say abracadabra, we'll get this thing going.
On what, Chuck? Say that again?
Just say abracadabra.
Abracadabra.
Oh, it worked out fine. You got it together. Bass players know what to do. You got the Love Jones. We're in our love zone at the moment. And so we're going to get into this, man, and find out how romantic and loving you are on this situation. So are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go ahead to it. Give me your definition. These are all your answers from you. What is your definition of love? Your definition of love.
Oh, my definition. Wow. Well, caring for somebody, and you want to be with them for the rest of your life, and yeah.
Hey, no, that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what you feel. That's what you feel. Caring for somebody, wanting to be with someone for the rest of their life. That's love. Okay. All right. What is your definition of romance? Your definition of romance?
You did ask me if I was ready.
I did. I really did ask you.
Doing things together, and having a nice time about it, and remembering special occasions, that kind of thing. Depending upon, how the relationship is, like taking care of, if you have children, you take care of the children, watch the children grow up,
Hey, whatever works for you, man.
Yeah.
Whatever works, that's all romance to you. Okay. Give us, if you can remember, an example of your most intimate or your favorite date, your favorite DATE, your favorite date involving love and romance. Date.
Well, my favorite was with my wife now, and we went. Well, she came to a gig that I was doing in Brooklyn. So she came. She lived in Flatbush, and the gig was in Bay Ridge. So she came to the gig.
Okay.
And so she was hanging out. She barely said 2 words, pretty much almost the whole night. And so it was like, at first, you look at her picture and like she looked amazing, And so then now I'm talking to her and she doesn't say anything. So she had a girlfriend with her, and the girlfriend was talking more than she was. And
Okay.
it was starting to bother me because, you know, the girlfriend knew that her and I, you know, her and my wife at the time, you know, or well, she was my girlfriend at the time, or trying to be. And, you know, so why was she talking so much? And she's just like, yeah, you know. And so I was starting to get a little, you know, I'm like, okay, she's not, you know, not joking around or nothing, and real serious and not saying anything. So I'm like, okay.
Right.
But towards the end, then she warmed up a little bit and started joking, and so it was late. I didn't want her to take the train home because they weren't driving. So I said, well, let me put you, you know, let me call you a car service, you know, and you know, I can take you, you know, they can take you home, because I didn't think that she wanted me to drive her, you know what I mean, because she didn't know me.
Sure.
So I said, look, there's a car service, you know, across the street. So she was like, where? You know, like she didn't trust me, you know.
Right.
And I'm like, no, just relax. You'll see the car service, you know. And then, you know, but she kept, where? I don't see no car service. I'm like, no, it's coming. And we laughed afterwards. But she did see the car service. She got in, and you know, she got home safely, and you know, and we had a nice time. And but there was a few things that I didn't know at the time. If there was some catchphrases that if I would have said it, it would have been done.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like if you don't know her, don't call her baby. And if I would have said that,
that would have been it.
That would have been it.
Okay.
So I didn't say it, you know, and it didn't make sense for me to say it because I didn't know her like that, you know, and I wouldn't have said it. But we laughed afterwards, you know.
Okay, all good. All right, so you're walking down. Let's say you're walking across that street to where the cab service or the car service is, and you just happen to kick a can by mistake. I pop up. I'm a genie. I only have one wish. I don't have 3 wishes yet. I only have one. That one wish has to be a wish that involves love. What is your wish that involves love in that one wish? Now, this could be for you, it could be for whomever, but it has to, one wish involving love.
Probably, I would probably have maybe wished that if we were, you know, maybe 30 years younger, you know, maybe have some kids together, you know, that would have been nice.
Okay. All right. That works. Well, what makes Gene Torres so unique? What makes you unique?
Well,
And this is, I want to keep this, I have to keep this PG. So I know I don't know if that laughter was beyond PG or R, but
yeah, well, you know, do I consider myself unique?
Every man or woman is different from everyone else for some reason. So
yeah,
there's a uniqueness. I call it a uniqueness. So that's why I would say, what makes you different, unique?
The thing that I you know, I try to listen to people, and you know, really listen, not just, you know, talking. Listen to what they're saying, and I think that's one of my unique things that I have, that I like to do, is listen, you know, and
right.
and react to that, you know.
Right.
You know, at one time I had a musician friend was mad at me because I canceled the gig, but I gave him like a month's notice, and he was upset. So we had a gig like 3 months after that, and he was still upset because I canceled his gig, you know. And
right.
So we're on the bandstand, and he's, you know, saying things that, you know, like, okay, what's going on with you? And I dealt with it not getting mad at him, because that would have made it worse.
Sure, sure.
So what I did was try to find out, what was he upset about? And he was upset because he thought I canceled the gig because of him. And I said,
Right.
no, I canceled the gig because of somebody else calling me, and I need to stay in that loop of that gig.
Right.
And it wasn't a month. He had a month's notice.
Sure.
You know,
sure.
and that's another thing. So I try to listen to people, and I try to treat people the way I want to be treated. And
Right.
you know how that is. Sometimes
Yeah.
you get burnt by that.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. It's no problem. I understand totally. Where would you put yourself, Gene Torres, on a scale of 1 to 10? It could be 1. It could be 100. It could be 200. I'll take any answer, but I'm just going to say 1 to 10 on a scale of love. Where would you put yourself?
Well, you know, with my wife, I would say a 10. You know, she's amazing. Okay. You know, she allows me to do whatever I need to do. Never a problem. You know,
right?
Never
right.
a problem. She's not jealous about it. She's really all for it.
Right.
And that's hard. You don't, you know, lots of times you won't find people like that.
Right. Right. I get that. I totally understand that. That's
you
true.
Know, so and that took me a long time to, you know how that is. You're trying to get a notch on your belt, you know what I mean? And then after a while it's like, you know,
yeah.
It's not worth it. It's like, there's got to be more substance.
I totally understand that. I totally. Give me 3 things, Gene, that are positive about men. 3 things that are positive about men.
Men are supposed to be providers, you know, which is cool. Wow, 3 things.
when you're asked a question, it's hard to get the answer, but when you're not asked a question, you just ramble them off. So
yeah.
I totally get it.
Personality, you know, personality.
And you did say one. You said so. Now you're on your 3rd one, because you did say one in the beginning. So you did. You said personality. You said something else than personality. And look, I'm supposed to be focused. I'm the host, right?
Oh.
So yeah, you owe me one more.
Oh wow. Okay, it's coming. It's coming.
Not so easy questions in the love zone. I see.
Yeah.
Now, if you just want to give me 2, that's fine. If you come up with
okay. Let's go with that.
Okay. All right, cool. Now, what are 3 things that you don't like about men? 3 things that you don't like.
Sometimes, okay. False ego, being stubborn.
Mm-hmm.
Being stubborn, and
yeah, these aren't as easy as they think.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Wow.
False ego, being stubborn, and
laziness. Sometimes laziness.
Right. We can be. All right, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, and then we'll jump into this game because we're almost done with our hour. We got respect, honesty, and trust. Respect, honesty, and trust. For this show, you're able to take one away and still have a fantastic life with your loved one. Which one are you taking away? Respect, honesty, and trust.
Which one would I take away?
Yep.
I would take trust away and just have respect and honesty.
Okay. Respect and honesty. All right.
Yeah,
Any
because
particular?
if you're respected and you're honest, you will be trustworthy already.
Right. Right. Because there was someone who told me that they couldn't answer it. So any answer that your individual, right? If you got respect, you got honesty, you're honest with someone. There's no way that people aren't going to trust you.
Right.
Right. Okay. All right. That's good. It look like you're thinking. Look like you're sweating a little bit.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Don't put an egg up here. Don't put an egg up here. We in trouble.
All right. Let me throw one more in there then.
Okay.
This should be easy. 3 things positive about women that you enjoy. 3 things you can think about your wife. 3 things positive about women that you love.
Well, one of the things about women that I like is that they can change up how they look.
Okay.
Wearing their hair up, wearing their hair down, putting a hat on. Guys always look the same. Never change. They got the one look and that's it. But women,
that's it.
That's a uniqueness that's so amazing.
Okay.
Their sexuality is amazing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And one more.
And their love.
Their love. Their love or they are love. Their meaning THEIR.
Who they love.
Right.
Their love. Yeah, who they love.
Okay. All right. That's fine. You rocking and rolling. You know that, right? This is gonna see.
No, I didn't get too the what was it about the men thing? That's still
and we might still have time for that. You can throw that one back in there, but we you thought this was just going to be an easy trial, a little trial basis with no
luck. You warned me a couple of times. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh man, okay.
All right. If you look up at your screen, this should be really easy, and this will end the show basically with our favorites. And all you have to do is give me your favorites. You don't have to explain them. You can just tell me exactly what they are, and we can rock and roll. All right. So we're going to do your 7s, lucky 7s, your favorites. What is your favorite food?
Vegetables.
What is it?
Vegetables.
Vegetables. Fantastic. Vegetables. I'll take it. I'll take vegetables. Your favorite book?
Possibilities by Herbie Hancock.
Fantastic artist. Herbie Hancock. Possibilities?
Okay. Yeah, that's the name of it. Yeah. He talked about growing up and all some of the groups that he was with and how he dealt with the business of the groups and then he started at Headhunters and he talked about that.
Right.
Okay.
Cool.
And just how he how he works. He's one of my favorite artists, and composers.
Okay. Cool.
So
favorite movie?
Oh man. It has to be one.
We can go for 2. We got time, a little bit of time for 2.
Okay, so The Matrix, that was one of my favorite ones.
Okay.
Silence of the Lambs was another favorite.
Okay. And it sounded like it was another one. Give me one more.
Star Wars. That was good.
Okay, cool. Favorite flower, if you have one. Favorite flower.
I don't really have a favorite flower. They all look good.
Okay. That works for me. That's fine. Your favorite drink?
Water. Believe it or not.
No, I believe it. I told you a lot of water answers. A lot of water answers. Favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, make a TV show. I would say Star Trek.
Star Trek. Okay. All right, that works. I'm gonna throw a little extra in there since we have like a minute or so extra, 2 minutes extra. Favorite singer? No, you know what? Let's change it really quickly. Favorite bass player? And we got about 2 minutes, 3 minutes left.
Everybody.
Everybody. Okay.
Everybody. I like everybody. Trust me. I like everybody. There's nobody that I don't like.
Okay. All right. And here's your seven. Here's your seventh one. Favorite romantic position? And we got about 30 seconds. Favorite romantic position?
uh, uh, I don't know. They could be on top. You know.
You mean they, meaning a woman?
Huh?
Meaning a woman. They can be on top.
Yeah. She's on top.
She's on. Thank you, because you said they. I don't know what. People have
that was not right. Yeah.
Gene Torres.
Sorry about that.
You were out of our favorites, out of the love zone, back into our regular situation. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you, man, for coming through.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
This has been fantastic, and we are definitely going to put his situation up where you can contact him if you need help. And as I always say in part, this has been a great show. This has been very, very fun. So I've had a good time with you very much. So as I always say in parting, please go with God in your heart. Have a peace of mind. Have a wonderful, wonderful tomorrow. And as my mother and father who are looking down upon us all, just keeping us covered, thank you so much. Please wear your mask. We have no idea what the situation is or whatever. Some people may think they do, but just cover up, protect yourself, and let's carry on and enjoy the situation as we know that we can. So, Gene Torres, thank you so much. After Dark with Shawn Cornelius, I appreciate you for coming through, man.
Thanks for having me, Shawn. I really appreciate it. Thank you, man.
All right, this has been a pleasure, man. So you just hang tight for a second. Gonna holler at you in a minute. And I'll see you guys next week on After Dark with Shawn Cornelius, 10:30 Monday nights here on BronxNet. Take care of yourselves.